So you're thinking about changing careers. Now the thought, the uncertainty that comes with a new career change can be overwhelming, but is it causing you to hold on to a job that just pays the bills? Is this you? Well, my name is Marcus. Welcome to Discover Ignite. And today we're going to be talking about changing your career, how to overcome the fear and take that leap of faith. So why is it so hard to change careers? Now it's hard because you got to break out of the comfort of what you're used to something you're not used to, whether that's a new job or a completely different field. But the thing is you have to understand that you have to break the mold. We grew up, our parents were telling us we had to find that job, find that one job that you can stay for 25 to 30 years, then hopefully retire at that age. But the truth is these kind of jobs are rare and far in between right now, nowadays. Nowadays, the average person will change jobs like 15 times in their lifetime. That's just now. Imagine how much more that will be in the next 10 to 20 years. That's going to change dramatically. And so to think of it like that, you have to be okay with change. You have to be able to adapt to change. You have to understand that, yes, change is coming. Whether you like it or not, it is coming. So don't be afraid, take that leap of faith. And today we're gonna do that, right? So we all start out coming out of high school, not knowing what to do. So we throw our feelers out there and trying to figure out what exactly we're gonna do with our life. And I started out, working in the library and then working for security and working at Blockbuster. If you all don't know what Blockbuster is, I am so sorry, because that was Friday and Saturday nights, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, because it was awesome. But nonetheless, from that point, I ended up actually working at a factory that did truck installation. And that was, I think, a big turning point for me, because I didn't want to live that way. I saw that there was a lot of limitations, there was very little growth, and I started forecasting my life at that point. I started saying, well, what exactly is this going to get me? Where am I going to get at this point? And it was looking really bleak, and I just knew it wouldn't be long. I didn't want to be in my 50s wondering where my next meal was going to come from. And so I had to make a change. And at that point, I decided to join the military, which I think was one of the greatest times in my life where I actually knew what I was going to do. It was something I always wanted to do, and I didn't take that step. And it took me, I think, like a year, close to a year after high school, to where I really accepted that, and that's where I went. But once I went in, I was ecstatic. This is what I wanted to do. It gave me the skills, it gave me the knowledge, it gave me everything I needed to start me off in life, right? And that was one of the greatest experiences I have. I did 8 years before I came to another turning point in my life where I was like, now what? I had the career, I was doing well, my re-enlistment was coming up. I didn't know what exactly I was going to do. I wanted to start a family at this point, and I was like, well, I didn't want to expose my family to that, because bringing a family into that kind of environment it was hard. It's hard to see families being ripped apart for months at a time and wondering if dad would ever come back home. I didn't want that for my family. And so that was the biggest turning point. I was like, I love what the military had given me, what it had done for me, the skills I had learned, the people I had met. It was just a fantastic experience. Did I want to leave all that behind? And it was hard. And many people told me right before I even got out, they're like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure this is what you want to do? And at the time I was like, it took me a while, but I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. I'm going through with it. I hear there's great benefits to the other side. I'm gonna do it. And so I did it, and it was scary. I went our first couple months without any work, but I had some kind of relief. I had saved up enough so I could make it a couple months, and I found a job. And at the time, I was working in telecommunications. This is the skill that I had learned in the military, and it was an adjustment, coming from something that you have like almost your bumper guards. That's essentially what I call the military, is like bumper guards, training wheels to get you started in life. And then to come out in reality, to deal with the real world is completely different. where it seems like when you're in the military, that's a family. Everything is a family. Even, complete strangers are like family because they're military. And then you come on the outside and it's just not that way. It's every man for himself, and it gets crazy, right? And so I come into the real world, and it was hard. It was starting from ground zero, and I kept telling myself, well, why did I do this? I did this to start a family. And I did start a family. I ended up getting married and everything, and it was good because I had what I wanted. I was able to get the safety of being in one spot, I guess, is from lack of a better term, because it's what I asked for, right? And yeah, there may have been some bad things with my job, like it was hard to find work, because being in telecom, there was always temporary work, where on the inside and being in the military, it wasn't that way. You had a steady job no matter what. And then on the outside, come to find out, it wasn't exactly that. I would have to be traveling a lot more than I thought I would be, but I was able to find jobs, but they were only temporary jobs, so I was repeating these temporary jobs over and over. Needless to say, it was hard, and I wanted to change again. And so I went back to college and I got my degree in computer science. And even in high school, I always wanted to do some kind of like programming, but I didn't, back in the late 90s, it wasn't like really a big thing back then. So I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to make a living doing, HTML and Photoshop and stuff like that. So nonetheless, I decided to go back to college and get my degree. And I got my degree, and then this was about like 5 years after the fact. I had gotten out of the military, so it was a rough 5 years, I ain't gonna lie. It took a toll on many other things, but it was good. It was a good growth experience. It taught me a lot. Life taught me a lot, and out of that, it caused me to refocus and to go after what I really wanted, or what I thought I really wanted. And so I went into programming. I went into become a software developer. And so making that transition was hard. That was one of the hardest transitions, because coming up to that point, I had been in telecommunications for like 12 years. So that was a 12-year career in telecommunications. And to be looking down the barrel, the way I actually got in was I had networked my way in to a position that was only going to be a month. That's all they were going to give me. It was like a month, another temporary job, but it would give me the experience to break out of telecom, because I'd go every couple of years, and it was just like I'd be out of work for a couple of months, and then I was just getting tired of it. I needed the change, so I made the hop. And I had actually, just before that time, I had actually got like a good position that was a very stable position that had at least 5 years. And that contract I was on had just started. And so I had some kind of safety, at least for the first 5 years. And then I was going to go to this job that only had 1 month left, 1 month on the contract. And I made that leap, and it was hard. And I can remember that drive up there, like, man, I hope I'm doing the right thing. This is really tough. I just really hope that this works out. And needless to say, that 1 month job actually extended a year and a half. So it gave me a year and a half experience, in which I actually jumped to another job, because that contract did finally come to an end. I jumped to another job for a couple months, and then I ended up jumping to another job, a third job on top of that, to get more experience, to get the kind of job that I wanted, that I was enjoying. And to understand that the jumps, they're hard, but if you can try to look at the positive, what is that jump making? That's your leap of faith. Like, if you can see the positive in it, and it's got more positive than negative in it, you need to take that jump. So we're ready, we're hyped, we want to make that career change, but how and where do we start? And the biggest thing I have for you guys is you gotta sit down and have an honest conversation with yourself. What exactly do you want? You have to really look deep, because what you think you may want is something you may not actually want. So look at the current position that you have. What is it that you don't like about it? Do you not like the flexibility? Do you not like the pay? Do you not like the lack of growth? whatever it may be, there's something in there that you are not liking. Maybe it's just too much work. Maybe it's more work than you thought it was. Maybe you just wanted more flexibility. Again, it's whatever you want. But the thing is you need to have that conversation with yourself. And then once you know the things that you don't like about the current position, and you know what exactly that it is you do want, you need to look into to see what kind of training do you need to get to where you want to be. Is it going to be something you're going to need a lot of training for to get to that new career path? If it is, then you need to start working on that. You need to start executing to get yourself there, because just wishing and hoping, and it's just not going to happen unless you actually take the steps to get there, to get to that position that you want to get, to be valuable in whatever it is, you can make that transition. And that's the biggest thing, is once you get all that stuff, you need to realize that it might take time. And it could take a lot more time than expected, and that's fine. So you may have to hold on to that job and know that it's going to be a process, that it's going to take a little bit of time. And that's perfectly okay, but as long as you are taking the steps to progress forward, then you're making progress, and that's the biggest thing. And then you can make that leap, because if you have to pay bills or whatever the case may be, you may be locked in that position. But as long as you're doing it on the side and knowing that this isn't ultimately where you want to be, where you ultimately want to be is over here. This is your path, and that's where you should be. And this can just out of my face for a little while until next time. So the biggest thing is just to concentrate on yourself. Get everything straightened out, know what you need to do to get to where you need to go. And then this will help guide you into making that career choice, to making that career path, and executing and actually finding something that you enjoy and love doing. So I just want to tell you guys, I know it's going to be hard. Any kind of career jump is extremely hard, and you just have to see value in the other side, right? If the value is greater than what you're currently dealing with, you know, whether that's flexibility, whether that's pay, whether that's growth, whatever it is, you have to realize that the value is greater than the fear of not wanting to do that. So just focus on that. Focus on the value that you're trying to get out of it. Take the action you need to get that value and to make yourself happy, because ultimately that's what it is you're changing careers to make yourself happy, and life is short. So make those choices and change whatever you need to change to get to where you want to go. Now, I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you guys did enjoy this video or know somebody who would get something out of this video, please share it with them. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, of course. And until next time, I will see you guys later.